In today's video, we are going to be doing some maintenance on something a little bit different. We're actually going to be doing some maintenance on our lawnmower. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. Typically, we don't show this kind of stuff on the channel, maintaining a lawnmower. Usually, we only talk about trucks, but I do want to show you guys the maintenance on this mower because it is very interesting. Here we have the Ferris Z3X with 37 horsepower, and in order to change the oil, it is a little different from a normal mower. It has this oil guard system on it, and it actually takes 5 quarts of oil. Basically, all you got to do is pull this thing out here from this little holder. It looks like it just hooks on there. I don't know. Yeah, it just hooks. You pull it down. It drains into a pan. You take off this cap and the filter comes out of there. Very simple. Now, what I don't like about this is it leaves the oil in the engine. So I'm thinking I want to try to get that oil out of the engine. It leaves 2 quarts of oil. So this reservoir right here is the normal, or is the added oil capacity of the engine. But the engine, it still holds in its crankcase down here in the actual motor. It still holds like 2 quarts, 2.5 quarts of oil. I don't know if it's that much or whatever, but it holds, from what I hear, it holds 2 quarts of oil down here and then in the engine. But I'm thinking if I take off this quick disconnect down in there at the bottom, it's down in there, but it's at the bottom of the back of the engine where the drain plug is usually at. I'm thinking if I pop that off, maybe I can get the last little bit of oil out of the bottom of the motor. I don't know if that's gonna hurt anything or what, but I'm gonna try it out and see kind of what happens. So anyway, let's go ahead and get set up to do this oil change. We'll see how easy it is. See you guys once we get the drain pan. But before I get the drain pan, I do want to thank Tom, my AMSOIL rep, and I gave him a call and I'm thinking like, hey, I want to know what's the best full synthetic oil to put in my mower. And I let him know what kind of mower I had and everything. And he said, hey, don't worry about nothing. I'm sending you a box. And he sent me what looks like 6 quarts of 15W50 small engine, 100% synthetic, commercial grade oil, which is perfect because, like I say, this mower takes 6 quarts, or it takes 5 quarts in here and whatever else is left over in the engine. So I don't know exactly how much the engine takes. It could be 6 or 7 quarts, I don't know. But I'm still kind of debating if I'm going to take the oil out of the motor or not. You're not supposed to, but it seems to me better to take the oil out of the engine. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get a drain pan. See you guys at the next scene. All right, guys, so I got a drain pan here. And like I've been saying, I've been debating on whether or not I'm going to actually go through the trouble of draining the crankcase on this, because the way it is designed and the procedure that it calls for, it requires you to drain the oil out of the system and put 5 quarts in and let the remaining 2 quarts just mix back in. And I kind of pick a little quarrel with doing that, but at the same time, it does call for a 500-hour oil change, and I'm actually getting to this oil at 300 hours, so I'm actually getting to it early versus late. So maybe it's not worth the trouble of draining the crankcase, because the way that it's designed now, when I drain this oil, it's going to be mess free. But if I drain the crankcase like I'm thinking I want to, I'm going to potentially leak oil on one of the belts, which will shorten the life of that belt, degrade that belt. It's the hydro pump belt. It might slip for a couple days. You might hear some squeaking, and that belt might slip for a couple days. So it might not even be worth it. It may be better just to do the recommended maintenance, the recommended procedures. And if I really want to drain the crankcase, it literally might be easier just to do this at 300 hours instead of the 500 hours, but they've designed this to be all right at a 500 hour interval. with just doing, so maybe I'll just follow the recommendations. I got my AMSOIL rep Tom. He had no issues with what the recommended procedure was, so I'm just gonna stick to recommended. And I barely want to do it anyway. Like, I'm very lazy. So anyway, this looks super easy to do. Tool free. Look at that. Turns by hand. Very easy. This might be the easiest oil change I've ever done. So let's see how this goes. Gotta turn this thing. It's got its own quick drain plug. Ford, if you are watching this, please take note. Because if you guys can make your oil this easy, just think of the possibilities. So there it is. 300-hour oil. 300 hours of straight up working hard oil. It is black. It is black. This is an air-cooled engine and all that, so it's dark, rather dark. But also, how warm is it? It's not that warm. Let me stop this for a second. I'm gonna pause this. This oil is so cold, being an air-cooled engine. I'm gonna run this engine a little bit more so that the oil wants to actually run out of here. Because if you see how slow this is going, it's gonna take forever. So let me warm up this engine, get a little heat on it, and we will pick this back up. See you guys in a second. All right, guys, so I warmed up the engine so the oil could flow out pretty good. A little bit of heat here on the motor. You can feel that reservoir has gotten warm. I've already taken off this little cap. It goes on here, screwed off right easy by hand, wasn't real tight. Then I've got this little brass turning mechanism thing. And yeah, just taking this off, draining the oil. Now this is thick oil. It runs a 15W50. So it's pretty heavy duty, thick oil. This is why I wanted to warm it up first so it could flow out pretty good. I am gonna crack the top here on this filter thing so that it can maybe flow a little quicker, get some air through there. And yeah, go ahead and let that drain. I did try to drain this with the engine being cold and it didn't work too good. Now, the oil filter, right here up top, oil filter, you just turn this thing and you pull it up. A little bit difficult, not bad. But yeah, there's your oil filter. And once I pulled that helped the oil drain out quicker. So that's nice. So yeah, oil filter out. Put it over here. I don't know if I need to save this or not. I guess I'll find out. Let me set this over here. Now, AMSOIL, unfortunately, does not make an oil filter for this. Briggs & Stratton does. And looks like it comes with everything that you need, guys. It also comes with a little zip tie. That goes on last. So I'll just throw that over there. Throw that over there for now. This guy is gonna be messy. This one right here. It's not too bad. I'm gonna set it over by the oil that I have over there. All right, so here's the new oil filter. Just like that, it's done draining. Once I pulled this oil filter out, it really sped up the process. I'm wondering if I should pour the oil in first, or should I put the oil filter on, then pour the oil? I'm not sure. This already kind of oils the O-ring itself. It's probably better to use new oil, but it's It's one of those situations where I guess you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, huh? So yeah, 5 quarts. Now, I can't add any oil yet because I think I can just add the oil after I put this in. But I have to remember to, I don't know, this is a tough one. And should I put new oil on this? I probably should because it's not gonna come out right. If I don't, it's already kind of stuck. So I'm gonna close this valve. I mean, is it done? Make sure it's done. It is pretty much done. So I'm gonna close, I wanna say close this valve. Close this up. It's pretty much done. I mean, like I say, there's gonna be, I get real OCD, like I want the oil to finish dripping, but I guess at the end of the day, there's 2 quarts of oil still left in the motor, maybe more, and it's gonna get dark right away. And then this thing hangs up back to where it was. Little spot there for it to hang. This is tight, finger tight. That's all it needs, no tools. And that's another thing, no tools. And honestly, someone asked me about a mower on Instagram. He said, are bad boy mowers good? Well, yeah, bad boy mowers are good. But they're not Ferris mowers and they don't have oil guard. So yeah, I messed up. This filter is so stuck. It hasn't even been in here for a long period of time. It's been in here for like 5 minutes. So the rules, it's not even 5 minutes. It's been here for like 1 minute and it's already stuck in there. So the same rules apply. You want to put fresh oil because it's going to be all stuck in there if you don't. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put new oil on the O-rings so that it doesn't get stuck. In 2 years when this gets out. Nice, Ames oil doesn't have that seal. Some people might want that seal. I don't, because I just want to pour this in here. I don't want to be, so I can just pour that in. And I'm gonna pour it over the pan so I don't make too big of a mess. There, new oil. It's got 2 O-rings. What if I just drop this and it'd be all old oil? Okay, let's do that again. That turns a lot easier now. All right, and it has little holes in it so that I can pour this in here. I don't know, this is, kind of makes it slower to pour. I probably should have just poured the oil in without this filter in here, because now it's got to like go through the filter. I'm like filtering the oil. All right, that's 1 quart, and we'll go for the 5. Yeah, this is about as easy as it gets. I mean, you're not bent over. You're not reaching in a tight spot. It literally is easy to do. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. So are bad boy mowers bad or good or whatever someone asked? Bad boy mowers are probably good. Like all the mowers are probably good, but nothing else has this oil guard. This oil guard thing is really, I mean, I think the guy that was asking me is a homeowner, not a business. And it probably doesn't matter because a homeowner, maybe he's got a little land, cuts the lawn once a week. He doesn't run it every day. Cuts the lawn once a week. Doesn't matter how much, the oil change intervals aren't that big a deal. Now, a guy like me, normally, I've got to change the oil like all the time. All my other mowers, they're overdue because I just run synthetic. I call Tom. I get some full synthetic. And I run it for like half a season. Then I change it halfway throughout the season. Technically speaking too, I think you're supposed to shake these up before you dump them. I never thought, I mean, that's a good point. Kind of been forgetting to do that. It's gonna shake anyway, but you do wanna re-shake up the additives actually. In these last two, I'm shaking. The first ones I didn't. So you do wanna shake these. And yeah, but bad boy mowers are probably good, but they don't have this, I don't think anymore. I think this is a Briggs and Stratton thing. So Ferris is owned by Briggs and Stratton. I think Snapper Pro, same deal. But if you can get a mower with an oil guard, get a mower with the oil guard. I mean, it's a great system. I mean, look at how easy life is with an oil guard system. It's a great system. So almost there. Like I say, and it does leave 2 quarts in the engine. I guess they figured out, hey, it doesn't matter because the motor at this level of maintenance will probably outlast, the engine will probably outlast the mower itself, either way. So you can see the bubbles coming out. So that's 5 quarts, and that's what we're gonna do. And I'll have an extra quart left over. Oh no, don't overflow. Come close. So yeah, it's one of those things. You could have just poured this oil in first without the filter. It might be the way to go next time in like a year when I have to change the oil again. So with that, there is a dipstick right here. You can pull it out. We have a paper towel and we'll see where we're at. Oh yeah, we're good. We're perfect. And this oil, something about this thick oil is just messy. It's just stringy. Makes engines, this thick oil makes engines last a long time though. Offers a ton of protection. But yeah, as you can see, it's full. Guys, I wish my vehicle had an oil change like this. So looking at this oil change system, the filter is minimalistic. It doesn't have a metal canister around it, so that saves the environment, I guess, because you don't have wasted metal. You think about it, this is a, if Obama, or better yet, Joe Biden, because he's in office, if he knew about this, he'd probably make it mandatory. Obama, if he knew about this, he definitely would have, because you're saving the metal cans. Yeah, you get a big steel, I think this is steel or aluminum, I don't know. But you get a big metal can, probably steel. This might be aluminum and this might be steel, I don't know. But you got this big metal can, and yes, that's more materials, but you don't have the waste of all those oil filters. So if this was on a vehicle, like a Power Stroke or a 6.2 gas, that would save you a lot of time. It would save the dealers a lot of time. You don't need tools, and obviously I wouldn't want to have the oil leave like a quart of oil in the engine. I don't like that. But otherwise, this is a remote oil system that cools your oil for you quite a bit, maybe too much in the winter. But this little zip tie goes here, and I don't know who cut it last time. Somebody was curious. Before I secure this, let me double check, make sure. Yes, sir, my filter is in the correct position, and boom, First oil change. That was so easy. Man, I'm telling you, that was so easy. And I didn't get all crazy. The risk outweighed the reward. You know, going outside of the book and going that extra mile. That is kind of how I am. It's kind of what I do. I go that extra mile. But doing so would have caused more harm. I don't know how fast it would prime. I don't know how the priming system works. If the priming of the engine is already set up so it automatically primes out of here. I don't know what's going on with the system like that. And inadvertently dripping oil on belts. I pull this quick release. I get oil on my mower belt. Don't need that in my life. I don't need oil on my hydro gear belt. Just don't. It's just not good. So risk outweighs the reward. If I really want to be that OCD, I'll just change the oil again in a month or whatever, in a day, whatever, just to whatever, calm my OCD tendency. But other than that, that's that and that's it. It's done. That was easy. That was the easiest oil change I've ever done. Kind of wish my vehicles were that easy. Although the 6.7 is pretty straightforward, it ain't as easy as this. I barely had to bend over. So that's oil change on the oil guard. I like how this is held up. Even if I were to forget to tighten this up, it's over the oil level. It's over the level. So this could actually be open. And until it drops below that level, it wouldn't come out. So that's interesting. It wouldn't make a mess. I don't know if any would come out, but maybe a little could come out. So if this came off and this rattled loose, as long as this didn't fall off, and it has been up here for 1.5 years and hasn't moved. So very cool design. I didn't notice like my fuel hose was rubbing. That's one negative. I can try to show you guys that real quick. I noticed that the fuel line rubbed a little bit right there, a little bit right there, and it's actually wearing a hole through the tank. The hose itself doesn't seem to be wearing, but the tank, the plastic tank, seems to be taking the wear. So that's not cool. But other than that, this is a $10,000 mower, and it's the best mower. It's the best mower out there. But anyway, this is DS Trucks. Thank you for watching the easiest oil change ever. See you in the next video. Over and out.